Hey Joyriders, welcome back to the channel. Hold on. Okay. That don't look good either, huh? There. The sun is kind of bright. I know I've been in MIA, and I know you guys saw the video that I got the bus. So I'm in the bus right now. I'm parking in the parking lot at the casino because I've been working out here, excuse me, all this week. And then I'm working here until Wednesday before Thanksgiving every single day, okay? Until Wednesday before Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving Day. Then I'll be back here on Friday until, oh, it's just, I think, what, 3 more days or something like that after that? That's what I signed up for so far. So, what I've been doing. I am sorry that I have not been around, but I have been in mourning. So 2 weeks ago, my dad passed away. He was transferred over to the skilled nursing facility, and he was not even there a week, and then he passed. So yeah, I've been dealing with that. So I had to go, that's why I left Minnesota early. I had to leave there and go to New Jersey, which I drove. I left on a Monday morning, and I didn't get there till Thursday because I was like taking my time. But not only was I taking my time, I really, I was mourning, you know. I didn't want to face it. It was just, you know, it was hard. I was driving by myself, of course, but I was in my head the whole time, you know, reminiscing about my dad, praying, you know, just trying to prepare myself for what I needed to see. Mind y'all, my nose, again, stuffy. Anyway, when I was on my way to pick my brother up in Connecticut, that didn't work out well. You know, when there is a tragedy, a death in a family, even though you know, it's expected, but you kind of hoping that it didn't happen, you know, kind of hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Families don't always get along, you know. And me and my brother got into it for something so stupid and so petty. I left it alone, but, you know, he's in his feelings, so I just let it be what it is. Anyway, hold on. All right, so, you know, I love my brother, but I don't have time for that, you know. All of that, it's just too much for me, you know. Joy, I'm joy. I got peace. I got love. I got prosperity, you know. I don't have time for hurting people's feelings and going. I don't have time for that. So you know what? I just leave him in God's hands, and I let that be what it is, you know. So I ended up going into taking care of all of my dad's affairs all by myself. The hardest thing I have ever had to do. And I felt so alone. Now, yes, I have a big family. But I'm the oldest, the firstborn. So I have my own dad. And everybody else shares the same dad, okay? But I have my own dad. So that's not to say that my sisters would not have come to support me, you know, and that type of thing. But, you know, this time they're all working. You know what I mean? Everybody's still have to live. My uncle lives in Dallas, so of course he couldn't, in Texas, he couldn't be there to help me. And so that's all that it is. My dad, my brother, my one uncle, because we had one uncle pass, my one aunt that, she's in a nursing facility, so she couldn't help me either. Anyway, long story short, I go to the nursing home so I could get his belongings, get his keys, all that kind of stuff. And they gave me what they had of his, but it wasn't all of his things. Because the rehab center that he was at prior to did not send him with all his things, his wallet, his keys. I still have yet to recover his keys. But they repossessed his car because, he was in the hospital for 3 months. And my dad paid all his bills with checks. So, he was in the hospital for 3 months. He was, excuse me. He didn't pay any bills. So anyway, I had to go clean out his apartment. I had to go to the funeral home, sign paperwork. Oh, excuse me. Go to the nursing facility, go to the rehab. So I left the nursing facility. They told me, we didn't know you were coming, which I called and told them I was coming. They told me to just come and ask for security. Well, security didn't have the stuff. Housekeeping did. Housekeeping left at 3 o'clock. So now I got to go back the next day, which, was Friday. So I go back on Friday in the afternoon. I get his things. They didn't have all his stuff, so I had to go to the other place. I called them to see if they had his stuff. Yes, they had it. I went over there and get his things. Now I have to go to his apartment and clear it out because I had an appointment with the funeral home at wait a minute. Let me back up a little bit, because I had originally had an appointment at 4:30 with the funeral home to do all the paperwork. Okay, so that was on Thursday. So after I left the nursing home, when I didn't get all his things, I went to the funeral home. I did all the paperwork I needed to do, and then they said, they said I could come and view his body, but I had to wait until the following day. So I went to one of the rest areas on the New Jersey Turnpike, and I stayed there all night. So next day I got up, I went to the nursing home, I got his things, went to the other place, the rehab, got the rest of the stuff. Then I go to his apartment. Now, when I went to the apartment, I had an appointment at 4 o'clock. I think it was 4. 4 o'clock, yep. It was 4 o'clock. I went there to have so the lady that was there, she let me in, the manager, she let me in his apartment. And when I went in my dad's apartment, guys, that was the saddest thing I have ever seen. It was evident that my dad was struggling. My dad lives a certain way. Now, you have to understand, my dad is the type of guy that is not coming out the house unless he's put together. He was a pretty boy back in high school and growing up. He was gorgeous, okay? He was gorgeous up until the day he died. My dad, he was 69 years old. He just had a birthday in August, and he's a very handsome man. And I'm not tooting my own horn. You can see in the picture that I put up there, my dad was handsome, okay? Anyway, I'm looking for cough drops. My father had bags and bags of cough drops in his freaking apartment. I have a bag that I opened and I don't know where I set it. So that's what I'm looking for. Got more over there. Look, this is ridiculous. Anyway, when I went to clean out his apartment, it was terrible. It was terrible. I never seen my dad live like that before. My dad kept his apartment. I mean, he wasn't a neat freak, but he was clean, you know? He had his table where he just put all his mail at. He didn't care about that. But his apartment was clean. He didn't have dishes in the sink, you know? And he didn't have dishes in the sink when I went there to clear it out. But it's apparent he wasn't cooking nothing. So I don't know what he was eating, but he was not cooking anything in that house. And if you know my dad, he's always cooking something. But he wasn't cooking nothing in that house. He was on dialysis. If you know anything about dialysis, you're very limited to the amount of liquids that you can drink. My father had 2 cases of bottled water and 9-gallon bottles of Poland Springs, okay? In his house. Why do you have so much freaking water, Dad? You're not even supposed to. It would take him years to drink all that water with the limited amount that they allowed him to drink. He had so much water, and then he had all of these bottles that he returned, you know, water bottles he returned. It was ridiculous. But I sat in that apartment and I looked around, and mind you, he had a studio apartment. So I'm like, my dad don't have that much stuff. Like, you know, there was no way I could take all that stuff out of there. There was no way I could do that by myself. So I just, you know, took what was important, what was sentimental. My uncle wanted some things. I grabbed those things. And I took all his papers. He had 1,000,000 of those, 1,000 papers of mail that was there. Like, I just took all that stuff. And I took all of that stuff, put it in the van. The van was loaded down, y'all. It was loaded down. It was loaded down. And then, let me tell you, when I left, so Friday night, I had so much stuff in the van. I was like, okay, for me to get to my daggone bed, I was going to have to do some acrobats, okay? Acrobatic routine, okay, to get to my bed. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go straight to Connecticut. I'll just go to my daughter's house and climb in the bed with my granddaughter, right? That was my plan, ladies and gentlemen. I got to New Haven, Connecticut, and Velocity died. I ain't gonna say she died. Okay, I'm gonna take that back. She died. Her engine is fine. She just got really, really sick. Okay, so the battery light came on, and I'm sitting here like, why the battery light on? I'm just driving, and people blowing the horn behind me, blowing the horn. I'm like, what they blowing the horn at me for? So I'm figuring the lights in the back went out, so they didn't know I had lights. Okay, the lights in the back went out. So I'm on the Merritt Parkway. Do y'all know what the Merritt Parkway is? It's 2 lanes with no emergency lane. And this is a highway. Okay? She stops. Just bloop. And then I didn't even really roll because it's flat surface. So I couldn't even get as close to the edge as possible. So police finally pulls up behind me. Because remember, I have no lights. I have no battery. So I have no hazard lights. I tried to turn them on, but they weren't doing much good. Everybody rolling by me. Okay, what do you want me to do? Apparently, I don't have any hazard lights. Otherwise, I would have turned them on. So the police pulls up behind me. And then he says, okay. I said, I called AAA. And then he's like, well, I can't wait for AAA, so I have to tow you off the parkway. So I have to call a tow truck. The tow truck driver came and told me, I said, okay, you can just put me on the side of the street. I'll have AAA come get me. No, he goes to the tow yard. I'm like, why would you bring me here? And I'm asking him all the way, like, how much is it going to cost me? He's like, oh, I don't know. I have to put the numbers in when I get to the office, this, that, and the third, or whatever. We get there, he pulls into the driver. And I said, I hate tow yards because y'all want to keep people's stuff. Then y'all don't want to let them out. I said, He going to close the gate behind me. So I'm on the phone with AAA. And I'm talking to this idiot. Do you know he charged me $325 to tow me off the freaking highway? And mind you, we was one exit. That exit we got off, the tow yard was right there. It was not even far. It was not even a mile. And he charged me $325. I was so freaking pissed. So then after I paid him, he put me on the street right there. So I'm on the phone with AAA all this time. AAA, all of these times I had to call them. Now, mind you, I only used AAA one time prior to this. Now they telling me I have no more service calls. I'm like, what do you mean I don't have any more service calls? You get 5. Now, this is all in one night, guys. I'm dealing with this, okay? I just left from viewing my dad's body, from clearing out his apartment with all of the stuff I told you about. I just left from doing all of these things. And now I'm dealing with this. The car broke down. So at this point, I am just like all tears. I'm just all upset. I'm just all stressed out. I'm just all hurt. I'm just so frustrated. I just don't know what to do. So I'm talking to the lady on the phone. I'm like, listen, miss, I know this is not your fault. And please forgive me if I sound like I am upset with you, but I promise you I'm not. I went to view my dad's body today. I had to clear out his apartment. Yada, yada, yada. I'm telling her all of these things I just dealt with. So she's like, well, we can't see your to verify that you do have a service call because of this. We can't see the dates of the service calls that they're saying that I already used them all up. Oh, excuse me. We can't see the dates because you in club 212 or something or another. And I have to transfer you to them. They transfer me to them. They can't see it. I have to wait for member services to call them and straighten all this up. Long story short, they claim I had to pay for the tow to go from New Haven to Connecticut. Okay? So now I'm prepared to pay for that. Oh, AAA will reimburse you. So, the tow truck driver never came. 2 o'clock in the morning, I stopped calling them. I said, you know what? I'm sitting in front. I'm freezing. Felicity won't start up. I'm just cold. So I climbed in the back. I did the acrobats, okay? I took my heated blanket. I plugged it in my power station. Thank God she had power. Turned it on. Got under the blankets. And then I went to sleep. Woke up 7 o'clock in the morning. I called AAA. They finally sent somebody out. They figured it out. I did have more service calls. I did not have to pay for them to tow me. And they brought me to my daughter's house. And that's where Felicity is right now, at my daughter's house. And I am at the casino in the bus because I had to go to work. So I'm out here. Been out here all week in the bus working. So I'm going to go to work today. And then tonight, when I get off, I don't work tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm gonna go. Depends on how I feel. I might drive to my daughter's house tonight, or I might get up early in the morning. I'll probably go drive tonight because I have to be here back again on Sunday, so I'll probably just leave here tonight. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my joyriders, I just want to let you guys know why I left Minnesota so soon. So because I was able to do all of those things for my dad, I did my part, in helping my dad. I couldn't leave that up to my brother because he's irresponsible. He's the youngest, and I was honored, to be able to do, even though it was hard. I was honored to be the last person to see him, because he's going to be cremated. So that was hard, but I got through it, I got through it. I got through that day. I dealt with all of that. And I'm still here. I'm still strong. I'm still standing. My brother's still mad at me, but hey, to each his own. He'll get over it eventually. If not, that's fine too. Because I know I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong to him. I didn't do wrong by him. I took care of my dad. Okay? I got all his important paperwork. And then I still haven't dealt with that stuff because mentally I'm not ready. I'm not ready. We do have his service planned. His cousin and his brother, my uncle and my dad's cousin, they got together and they planned his service out. So service is going to be next month, December. Because like I said, we're waiting on his cremains to come back. And then I should hear from the lady today. They said, if I don't hear back from her by today, then I should call on Monday. Tomorrow or Monday. I'll call tomorrow and see what happened. But I won't be able to go get them until after Thanksgiving because I have to work, I have to get this bus ready for Arizona. But anyway, guys, I am so grateful for your love, your wishes, your prayers, everything that you said, nice things that you said, to me when my dad was sick, when he was going through, he was struggling, he's not suffering anymore, guys, So I asked God and I prayed, if he's not going to get better, just go ahead on and take him. Don't let him suffer because nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves to be in pain. Nobody deserves to just be laying in bed a vegetable, pretty much. I mean, he was awake and looking around, but he had a trach, so he couldn't talk. You don't know what he want to say. He was miserable. He was not happy. He wanted to get out of that place, but he wasn't healthy enough. So I am always grateful to God, for his mercy. I'm grateful to God for his mercy. I am so grateful to have known this man. I'm so grateful that he was my dad, because if it wasn't for him, then there wouldn't be no me. So guys, thank you for your love. Thank you for your prayers, your condolences. All of that is well received. So like I said, we're going to be burying my dad. Well, not going to bury him, but we're going to have a memorial service to celebrate his life next month. So thank you for your time. I'm going to end this video, and I wish you all the best. Remember to have more faith than fear, and what you don't change, you choose. Many blessings.